Hey guys, chances are you've heard of the programmable flat switch panel from Wired HDH, but you may not have just been able to see it in action at one of the shows that we've been to. So we just want to show you real quick the switch panel system and how it works. The programmable flat switch panel is made up of a couple different components. It is a switch panel, so right here I've got a keypad. It is 8 identical tactile switches. And this is in a single unit that can be, these switches can take on the function of any rocker, toggle, or button that you'd normally cut individually into your dash to tie to an accessory. This switch panel is programmable. What that means is at the push of a button, each of these switches can be either a sustained on-off button for a set of lights to control a set of lights, or it can be a momentary button for like your winch in and your winch out. Each switch can be programmed battery direct or programmed ignition, and those functions can be changed back and forth on the fly in seconds. Additionally, this keypad is flat. It's as thin as a credit card. It's flexible, so you can mount it to a slightly curved or contoured surface. You mount it with 3M sticky tape, and this is high quality sticky tape. Once the switch panel is mounted, it's actually permanent. If you pulled it off, you'd actually damage the switches if you pulled it off. So once you get it there, it is stuck. The keypad has LED indicators above each switch, and below each switch has an embossed area for your legends. With this system comes 600 legends to identify the accessory that you tie into the system. The system comes with the Wired HDH control box, and all you're doing is installing this control box. You're finding a power, a ground, and an ignition source, and then you're tying each accessory that you add to your vehicle, to your build, into one of the 8 outputs, which corresponds to one of the 8 switches on the keypad, and that's tied together with the 5-foot harness. You can also get the harness in 15-foot lengths on our website if you want to check that out. And all of that is installed with the supplied installation kit, which comes with the unit and comes with everything to install it without cutting or splicing into any wires in your vehicle. Again, the keypad is 8 identical switches on a membrane keypad. And what that means is this is a membrane overlay. It's UV protected. It is water and chemical resistant, so no fingerprints. It's splash proof. You can just wipe it off with any household cleaner or automotive cleaner, and shoot, any spills or any soda spills or mud or any splashes on it all, you just wipe it off and it's good to go. What I've simulated here is a setup system where we have our control box mounted. It is potted, so you can actually mount it underneath your hood in your engine compartment if you wanted to. Otherwise, we recommend putting it under your seat or under a dash in an easily accessible location. And then your keypad again can be installed on a dash or on a console. Or we had Hunty install his on top of his CB radio, and it looks great. Thanks for the pictures there, Hunty. Anyway, I've got the system set up, and we've got our Jeep here simulated. I've got a set of keys, and I've got my ignition source. Once you get the system wired in, the factory default is that all 8 switches are push-on, push-off buttons, and they're wired battery direct. Again, I don't have my keys in the ignition or anything on. And if you want to change the functionality of the switch, going back to the programming feature, right now we have our off-road lights on the Jeep set on switches 1 through 3. We have some underbody or rock lights set on switches 4, 5, and 6. And we have 7 and 8, our winch in and our winch out. Now the first thing you're probably thinking is that an on-off button does not work well for winch in, winch out. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the functionality of those 2 buttons right now. The Wired HDH logo is a hidden button. You hold it down for a couple seconds and you go into a programming mode, which is indicated by the LED being illuminated next to the Wired HDH logo. The LEDs now above each switch tells me that these are on-off switches, so I'm just going to choose the switches and press the switches that I want to change to a momentary function. So I still have all of my on-off buttons, and now I have my winch in and my winch out as momentary buttons. Additionally, I told you that we could change from ignition to battery direct. We're going to change our sets of off-road lights to be wired ignition versus battery direct. All we're doing is selecting the switches now that we want to be ignition. All I did is I entered into the same programming mode. The only difference was I activated the ignition before I did. You can see the flashing LED now tells me I'm in a different programming mode. The lights, the LEDs off tells me that those are battery direct. The LEDs on above the switches tell me that these 3 switches are wired to ignition. So now that I've changed the functionality of my switch pad on the fly in seconds, we still have our ignition on, so we still have our momentary buttons for our winch in, winch out. We still have all of our on-off buttons. The only difference is now, when we jump out of our vehicle, our off-road lights turn off. The next time we jump back in our vehicle, however, it has the memory, so our off-road lights come back on. Now, you'll notice when we turn the ignition off, we've still got our rock lights or our underbody lights. We just happen to leave those battery direct. You don't have to be worried about draining your battery with this system. It has low voltage protection. This unit will shut off the accessories before it gets to a state, before your battery gets drained enough to not start your vehicle. Each output on the control box is rated at 2.5 amps per output. So we're talking LED lights mostly could come in direct to the control box and you wouldn't need a relay. However, if you are going to go ahead and run your high-powered off-road lights and they're not LED, all you do is go from your accessory to a relay, and then from your relay you come into the control box, and then the switch would obviously just control your relay, which would control your accessory. As far as warranty goes, Wired HDH offers a 2-year manufacturer's warranty, and the installation of the keypad, the installation of the control box, and how to bring accessories into it is all on our website in different videos that Patrick has done, so check those out. And if you got any questions, don't hesitate to drop us an email from our website or give us a call.